Generation Z. You know, we want everyone to stay tuned. We want them to come on and hear what this great woman of God has to say. If you are a public speaker, a motivational speaker, if you are a preacher, I want you to jump on and listen. Listen, Linda, listen. Y'all know me. I had crazy on my own show. But I want you to jump on and listen to this great woman of God. She is going to talk to us about the blueprint to finding your authentic voice. Again, if you are a motivational speaker, a public speaker, a preacher, a teacher, whatever calling that God has placed in your life, and you are speaking, you're using your mouthpiece, I want you to join us on today. So you got time to go ahead and text somebody and tell them to get on. And before we actually bring on this great woman of God by the name of Denise Benz, all the way from Escondido, California. I'm super excited. I guess you can tell, Denise.
Yes.
Super excited about today's show. But we are, like I said, we're going to talk to you today about the blueprint to finding your authentic voice. But before we get into that, before I introduce you the proper way, I want to just let everybody know that August is National Black Business Month. And like I said last week, find a Black business that you can be a part of, that you can sow into, that you can support and, you know, do some damage. You know, don't just spend $5 or $10, spend some money to help them out with their business. Okay. Because, you know, we'll run to Amazon in a minute, we'll go to Walmart and all these other places. But guess what? We have small Black businesses that we can get some nails done, that we can get our hair done, that we can get makeup. You know, I heard Rihanna, she's a billionaire now. I'm super proud of her because she's got makeup out now. She's got clothing and different things like that. She is not running to Ann Taylor or anything like that. So I'm super excited about that. And also, they say August is National Wellness Month, which focuses on, here go my word, y'all, self-care. Y'all know me and self-care. It focuses on self-care, managing stress, and promoting healthy routines. You know, that's me all the way. It creates a wholesome habits in your lifestyle all month long and see how much better you feel. So in other words, they want you to do some self-care this month. Me, I'm gonna do it every month. Y'all can do it in August, but I'm gonna do it every month. But when you do these things, when you do those breathing techniques, the meditation, the grounding, you know, some people are asking me, what is grounding? Come to my class on Monday. I'll teach you about grounding. What the world has done has taken what we as Christians should be doing. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, and they that dwell therein. So guess what? The earth is ours to step on. Yes. We ain't gotta be afraid to be barefoot. You know how they used to say barefoot and pregnant? Hey, why do you think a woman wanted to be barefoot and pregnant outside? Because come to my class on tomorrow night and I'll give you that answer. I ain't gonna tell you now. You gotta pay for this.
That was a good little teaser. I was like, wait a minute.
Anyway, and so also, guess what today is? August 8th is National Happiness Happens Day. And this day encourages happiness all day long. So guess what? We just gonna be happy, happy, happy. And it recognizes every moment of glee, joy, delight, and pleasure. This day, August 8th, new beginning. Wow. Yes. Let it be your new beginning. Say, I'm not gonna let nobody steal my joy. I'm not going to let nobody take my happiness. I'm going to be happy all day long, not just today, all month, all year long. No, for the rest of my life. The best is going to be the best of my life because I'm going to make sure that I'm happy. Amen.
Yes, I received that.
Yes. We ought to be excited about that. So guess what? I want to share with you again my good friend, I tell you, we just been knowing each other for what? A month?
Feels like much longer.
I mean, but our spirits have been connected. I mean,
Yes.
we know, we thank God for Pastor Robert Johnson and Pastor Diane Johnson who connected us. And it's just been a joy to know this great woman of God. She's doing so many great things in the marketplace. And that's what I love about it. I have nothing against the church being, doing things in the church. But guess what? The unsaved people are outside the church. So guess what? We got to go outside the church to bring them in. So Let me share with you this great woman of God by, again, Denise Benz. She is the oxygen. I love it. I'm telling you, I'm just super excited. She is the oxygen in your project. Somebody say that. She the oxygen in my project. She is passionate, dedicated visionary whose gift is seeing people beyond where they see themselves. I'm telling you, and we're going to get into that, and then you're going to understand why she says this. She is the CEO of Authentic Speakers Agency and the personal relationship firm. And let me just put this in there. No, she ain't trying to hook you up with a man. That's not what this firm. When people hear that,
yes, thank you.
They thinking I'm gonna get the hookup. No, it's something else. And she served in self-development industry for nearly 20 years. She has worked with some of the top names in the industry, from Tony Robbins to Ayanna Van Zant. And she is the former CEO of Lisa Nichols. Y'all know Lisa Nichols, that great woman of God that's out there spreading the word as well. And she, Lisa Nichols Companies, and the architect behind several brands. She's often quoted saying, "I am a woman fueled by faith, driven by passion, and protected by God." I love it. I love it. So, Denise, we're going to get into these questions. And like I said, I'm going to have some other questions for you. But we want those who are out there in Facebook, Zoom, YouTube, Instagram, we want to hear the authentic voice of none other than the one that's standing behind, these great men and women that are out there. We want to hear her authentic voice. So my first question to you, Denise, is what are the top 3 things people will get from reading your book? Now, here's your book.
Oh, isn't it lovely?
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It is beautiful.
So I would say that one of the top things that people walk away with is how to clarify your message, how to clarify what it is that you really want to talk about. The second thing I would say is identifying your true market. Sometimes people think that whatever their story is so great, it's applicable to everybody. Everybody needs to hear this. Everybody may enjoy it, but there's an actual market in there that you need to work on speaking directly to them to be more impactful. And then one of the biggest things, and I say that this applies to even celebrities that I've worked with, and it's learning the difference between exposure versus opportunity. So many organizers will be like, "Oh, no, you need to come to our event. It's going to be great exposure." Well, you may be at a place in your career where exposure is not what you need. What you need is an opportunity. And sometimes you're doing something and it's a great opportunity, but you don't realize that you need this type of exposure to get you to the next level. So those are the top 3 things. And I think the last thing, which is really what the book is about, is how to access and tap in to really finding your authentic voice.
Wow, that's amazing. I like that. You said opportunity versus what's the other one you said?
Exposure
versus opportunity. I never saw it that way. And
People get caught up in the numbers. Oh, there's not going to be a lot. Oh, how many people? Oh, it's going to be 50 people there. It's going to be 100. It's not worth my time. Okay, but what if those 100 people that are there are going to give you access to a larger audience? Maybe those are influencers. So you have to really be careful what you ask for, number one, and know how to define what's the right fit for you. And when people are just starting out, they get so caught up in numbers, right? We're running, checking our social media every day. How many followers do I have? It's not quantity, it's the quality.
Wow, I love that. Oh my God, did y'all hear that? It's not quantity, it's quality. It's about excellence. Oh my God, that's good. Whoever is out there needed that. Guess what? Stop checking your Facebook, seeing how many likes you have. It doesn't matter. One person can take you to your next. You don't need 1,000 people to take you to your next. Just that one person. It just reminds me. I said, Lord, just give me that one person that got $1 million.
Listen. That's
just
it.
That one person.
That's it. Absolutely.
Wow. Okay. So your next question is this book only for aspiring professional speakers, or who's the book for?
So I always say, because I come from the speaking industry, right? A lot of people think, oh, she just works with speakers. No, I've worked with R&B artists. I've worked with doctors. I've worked with attorneys. Anyone that's using communication as a tool, that's who this book is for. If you're a teacher, if you're a pastor, if you're a pastor's wife, if you're an educator, if you sit back in awe of other people on stage going, man, it's something about her, that Jacqueline, I don't know, I feel connected to her. Every time she speaks, I just feel like I know her. There's a reason for that. That's because what you're tapping into is the authenticity of the speaker. And so if you're using communication to further your message, you need to figure out how to do that. The quicker you figure that out, the better off you're going to be, the happier you're going to be. People run around trying to be a carbon copy of another speaker that they saw, and they don't realize that what they were attracted to is the authenticity. It wasn't the suit. It wasn't the shoes. It wasn't the way they say, raise your hand 2 times. It wasn't the yes, yes, yes. It wasn't all that, right? You don't know what it is, but you're like, oh, if I could only do that, that's the problem. You're trying to replicate another person. You're looking, listen, this might be a word. You're looking for the source and the answer outside of yourself.
Wow.
Outside of yourself.
Wow.
When you're already equipped with everything that you need.
That is so good. So what would you say to a new aspiring speaker that wants to basically have their story presented, but afraid to present it the way that they know they should? What would you say to a speaker that's fearful and they're coming up with an event, but they're fearful about it?
So you said something key there. You said that they're fearful about presenting it in the way that they know that they should. Well, where does that knowing come from? That knowing comes from looking at other people and thinking that you have to replicate them. That's so good. What I would say to them is silence the noise. And this is how I've worked with people over the years, whether it was a singer or a speaker or an actor. I always take Stephen Covey's philosophy of starting with the end in mind. Once you stop thinking about how to look like someone else and you really focus on the impact you want to have with the people hearing the message. If you go in going, you know what, God, there's somebody in this audience today that needs to hear this song, that needs to hear this sermon, that needs to hear my story, that needs to hear my experience. I want you to use me so that whatever it is that I've gone through in life that you brought me through, if that could be impactful to someone, give me the words for that. When you start looking at it from that perspective, then authenticity can't help but rise to the top. It can't help it because you're not focused on how you look. You're focused on what you're saying and you're wanting to make a difference in other people.
That's good. So why do you think people struggle with being authentic?
Well, number one, don't even give me, listen, I need a box so I can stand on my soapbox for a good 60 seconds, because I'm gonna tell you, there's so much doggone judgment. Number one, there's judgment in the church, there's judgment in your job, there's judgment in your circle. We are constantly judging ourselves. If I saw a post one day and it said something like, if I snap a photo of myself and post it because I just want to be in the moment, I look tired and I look haggard, and oh, I need some makeup, and where's my filter? If I put on some makeup, ooh, who does she think she is? Who's she trying to be? Like, it's like no matter what we try to do, there's judgment, right? So I think the challenge is people don't want to be judged. People want so much to be liked and accepted that drives them to replicate other people and seek the answer outside of themselves. I think that we're way too critical of people, not just in the professional world, but often, in the Christian community. We make it difficult for people to show up and just sit in whatever it is that's up for them.
Yeah.
So, and ministers, I feel like ministers have it the worst, because it's difficult to find a safe space when you work in ministry.
Yes.
Because you feel like the judgment is even more overwhelming. That's the same case for speakers or entertainers. I will tell you, I have sat backstage with people that you've seen on television every single day. I'm not going to say any names. And they're totally having a meltdown. I don't know if I can do this. I think I'm going to fraud. I don't know if what I have to say is even impactful. Like, they're.
Wow.
And so I have to stop, and I do what I call get them back in their body. I'm going to help you get back in your body. So I need you to focus. We're going to look on me. I grab their hands and I just center them. So if you're just starting out, and this is, speech number 3, of course you're going to be nervous. I'm telling you that people that you could turn on your TV right now and see them have those same moments. Then you got to give yourself some grace and mercy and know that you're not alone with that. So I think that's why it's difficult. People just don't want to be judged. And so they think the remedy to non-judgment is replicating something that they saw that appeared to be successful.
Wow. That's so good.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it makes sense. You just help somebody. You just help somebody. I mean, because, even like you said, in the Christian world, I mean, we are always trying to mimic someone else, because we don't want to be rejected. We don't want to feel overlooked. We don't want to feel like we don't have it all together, or that we're not good enough, and I think that's what really is a spirit going in the kingdom of God, that makes us to want to be carbon copies of someone else. There cannot be another Jacqueline Renee Duncan out there. They just, right. It can't be. I have a twin brother, but guess what? Our fingerprints are different. Exactly. I mean, he's a boy and I'm a girl, but even if he was a girl and I was a boy, with him, we still wouldn't be the same. You know
what, Jacqueline, can I say something? And maybe this will bless someone, because oftentimes when we're talking about judgment, we're thinking on the negative side, but I want people to realize that we struggle with judgment even on the positive side. Yes. So I posted a video, or not a video, a photograph. I was walking up my driveway and I was like, right, just like, and so I stopped, and when I raised my head up, I was looking at the cars in the driveway, and they were like at an angle, and I was like, man, that's a pretty picture. And I shot it. I took a picture of it, and I stopped and I thought, man, it's so funny how you get so caught up in life that you're being busy, trying to think to do the next thing, plan the next things, be 10 steps ahead, that you will miss the fact that you're living the dream that you envision for yourself.
Wow.
That you're already in it, right? And so I posted this picture on my Instagram, and I said something like, dream big. And a friend of mine who knows me very well called me, and she was like, when I first saw the picture, I was like, I thought it was a Mercedes Benz ad because I follow them and And she's like, and then I did the double take, and I'm like, wait, that's Denise's car. And she said, Denise, you are so focused on being behind the scenes. I know that people probably did what I did. They thought it was like an ad. And yeah, you're saying, hey, let's kumbaya, let's all think big. She goes, but tell me why you posted that picture. And so I said, I posted it because I realized that sometimes I'm so caught up in the next thing that I have to stop and be present and look at all the things that God has
Yeah.
done for me. And my life looks differently. And I'm focused on the stuff I haven't done, and I'm missing out on the things that he's given me. You know, I'm a girl that left home at 15 years old with no family. I was estranged from my mother, grew up without my biological father, no aunts, no uncles, no cousins, no nothing. And I did some things that were substantial for me. I always wanted to buy property in California. That was a big thing, like as a single Black woman, and I was able to do it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm blessed that God put me in the presence of amazing people. I've met Oprah 3 times. I'm looking at the driveway, and I'm like focused on, I'm sweating and I'm irritated. And I looked up and I'm like, you don't have 1 Mercedes, you
My
have
God.
3. And
My.
look how beautiful this picture is. And look at this life that God has created for you. But this is the thing. I don't want judgment. So I thought, I don't ever want to post a picture with my car, any of the cars, because I don't want people to be like, who does she think she is? That's probably not even her car. See, people always living outside their means. Like I wrote the whole narrative of everything I thought
Wow.
that they would say. So if you look, I might post a picture of like a CD in the car, or like when I voted, I post a picture of the I voted sticker on the steering wheel. But I'm not like a pose like your friend. I'm not, because I don't want people to be caught up in things. I am very clear that everything I have and everything that I have had the opportunity to do and go and be and see and connect with is because of God. And so I don't want the message to get diluted. I don't want you to be caught up in who Denise thinks she is or what, none of that. So I'm so sensitive and so concerned about being judged that I won't even post a picture of my car. Right? Right. So it's like we pray and ask God for things. And then when it shows up, it's like we don't want to show that we have it because we feel like we're gonna be judged because we got it.
Wow.
You worry that somebody gonna judge you because God gave you what you asked for.
That's so good. That's so good. But we got to turn that around and see and let it be a testimony that, this is what God has blessed me with, and he can bless you as well.
Right.
So if we turn around and see it that way, yeah, I'm going to take a picture of my car. I'm gonna take a picture of my house, whatever, and let you know I've been waiting 5 years for this car, and guess what? The Lord finally blessed me. So if you're out there waiting for God to bless you with a brand new Mercedes, guess what? He will do it, and he will do even exceedingly above all that you may ask or even think. And then guess what? Show the 3 Mercedes. I mean, we have to stop worrying about what people think. I mean, it's in our culture. You know how they say we're like crabs,
Yes.
pulling each other down, because they want to get on top. No, how about if we lock arms and go up together?
Yeah.
Instead of trying to pull each other down, judging her because she got a Jacqueline Renee show. Who she thinks she? I'm Jacqueline Renee. Hey, this is something that I wanted to do for years,
Yes.
and the Lord spoke to me one day when I was riding the train. I wasn't riding in my car. I was riding the train. And he said, go on Facebook. It's free. What? Okay. And so we've been, a year now, a year or more,
Wow.
doing this, bringing on special guests like you and talking, not really preaching, but encouraging people on Facebook, encouraging people on Instagram, YouTube, and so forth. And we're still out there. And do you think I'm going to shrink up and say, no, I'm not going to do it because of what people may say? No, I'm going to keep going because guess what? It's helping someone. If it's one person that gets helped by Denise Benz while she's on the Jacqueline Renee show, I done what I'm supposed to do. And I'm happy.
Exactly. And I talk often about finding your village. And this is why it's important, because the cesspool of people that are those crabs in the barrel trying to pull you down, that are judging you based on what you have, where you've been, who you know, all that. I feel like my job is to protect my sacred space. And so I have to counterbalance that with people that are in my village, people like you that have the right heart. Like when someone has something happen to them, I'm so excited. You would think that like I have a vested interest. If you see me online promoting something, you're like, oh, she must be doing a JV. No, I'm just excited because if God will open that door for you, like he's going to do it for me. But you have to surround yourself with people that celebrate life and other people like that, because there's a whole bunch of people out in the sea, waiting to pull you down. So,
yeah. Yes. Now I want to go to your book. Can we go to your book? There's a statement in your book that I want to bring and I want to get why you put this in the book. It says, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. That was a very profound and powerful statement.
Yes. So, you read the book, obviously. So, before I wrote that statement, I talked about growing up in church. And in church, they used to say, sometimes you got to get out of your own way. And I remember as a kid, I was very analytical as a kid. I was like, get out of your own. How am I going to get out of my own way? That doesn't even make any sense. How can I be in my own way? And then and I heard multiple versions of that, right? And then when I heard that one, I realized, oh my God, sometimes the thing that is stopping us is not these outside forces. It's not the things that people are saying or doing. It's what's happening up here between our mind.
Yes.
I told a story, a lady interviewed me about working for Tony Robbins. And I remember being offered multiple positions when I went there. And I was so nervous and shocked. I said, you know what? I think I want to work at the bottom and work my way up. Now, my mindset said, because if you get fired, you don't bounce back from being fired from Tony Robbins. You don't want to say, yeah, my last job was Tony Robbins, now I was fired. And I said to her, I didn't hire myself and fired myself in the same conversation, all in my head. Right? Like I'm sitting in the interview and I didn't fire myself and I'm already creating the narrative that people are going to say about me. So we have to get out of our own way. We have to turn that volume down on that chatter. And for me, the way that I do that is I stand on, one, the promises of God, what he has promised me as his child. And two, you have to, this is why it's important to celebrate your wins. You have to remind yourself of your wins. You have to remind yourself of your successes, because the world's going to give us enough, they're going to give enough attention to the things that we haven't done. So we have to write and journal, right? We have to document so we can celebrate and remind ourselves. Journaling is so powerful because you go back and you're like, dang, I forgot that happened. Because when you're writing the emotion and the day and how you felt and how the air, and so you're back in it like it happened yesterday. And as time goes on, it drifts and you kind of like forget the impact of something. But when we write it down, it brings it right back into our consciousness like it happened yesterday. So we have to get out of our own way. Sometimes the only thing stopping us is our conversation, is our mindset, is that negative chatter. And they say half the battle, one, is showing up, right? And two is just being in it. You know, if a kid, and I think I mentioned this in the book, if you're coaching a child like for Pop Warner soccer, and they're like, man, we suck. Man, I don't even know why we're going to play those kids. They're bigger than us. They're probably going to smash us, right? You would look at that kid and be like, okay, hold on. If that's the mindset you have going into this game, guess what? You are going to lose.
Yes.
I need you guys to rally together. I need to remind you, didn't you win last week? So you start reminding them of their successes, because we as adults, we know how powerful our mindset is. We understand it when we're coaching children, but we don't apply it to ourselves. We don't apply it to our relationships. We don't apply it when that chatter comes in. It's always there. You just got to turn the volume down. Sometimes it's like low, and sometimes it's like on stereo.
I love it.
Yeah, disconnect that Bluetooth, because I know my chatter, the Bluetooth, I'm like, oh, the Bluetooth is kicked in. Let me turn this doggone Bluetooth off.
Oh my God, that is a good analogy of that. I'm telling you to turn that blue
Oh,
off. I'm telling you,
yes.
I've always said that every thought is not your thought. You got to take those thoughts captive and you got to bring them down, casting down every imagination that exalt itself against the knowledge of Jesus. Ah, Basha, my God, of Jesus Christ, because the enemy will put these thoughts in our mind and they're not even true. They are a lie. And that's what the devil comes to do, to kill, steal, and destroy. But God said he came that we may have life and have it more abundantly. You know, we talked about August being today being a day of happiness. Guess what? In order for us to continue to keep our happiness, we got to control our thoughts because the scripture tells, yes, happy mind. What is it?
Happy life.
That's right. That is so true. But we go through this mind game. It's a mind game that the enemy keeps every day. I mean, it's so many thoughts that come to our mind over, I think it's 60,000 a day or even more. I'm not sure. Right. I forgot how many thoughts come, but we got to decipher. We got to, allow those good thoughts, those think of those, something good, true, honest, good report. All of those things need to come in our thoughts. Not you're not gonna make it. Not you're gonna die. Not you're not good enough, and different things like that. That's the trick of the enemy, and that is a lie from the pits of hell. So,
can I take that a step further and give your audience something applicable they could do?
Yes.
So anyone that's in my intimate circle, especially like clients I've worked with, oftentimes you might see them in an interview and they will share. And I learned this from Miss Denise because everybody knows me, knows that I say this. So when someone says something to me, I listen. And then I filter it through my knowingness. Is that in alignment with what I believe? Is what they're saying true? Is there any validity to that? Is that completely off kilter? Is that totally not who I am? And if after the analysis is no, then I say, well, I appreciate that, but I don't receive that.
Wow.
If you give me a compliment, I go, thank you. I receive that. And I will say that because it's me internalizing a compliment that you've given me. We're so quick to like block the compliments. Oh, girl, I look crazy. My hair look right. So no, I want to stop and acknowledge you. Get out of your own way. God kind of spoke to me years ago about this. Someone gave me a compliment and I was always quick to be like, oh no, girl, my hair looks crazy. Oh, I've had this forever. So I was like the taekwondo of blocking compliments. And God just spoke to me and was like, hold up. Did it ever dawn on you that maybe it was difficult for them to walk across the room and give you that compliment? Did you think that maybe before you start knocking it down, you can just acknowledge them for giving that to you? And I was like, oh my gosh, it's not all about me. So I stopped doing that. So when someone gives me a compliment to this day, I'll go, thank you. I received that. And so my friends and clients joke about the fact that I taught them that, but it's so that you can be present. But what some people don't know is in reverse, when people start projecting that negativity, girl, don't even try because ain't nobody gonna show up. Don't even try to help them out because they're gonna go back and do the same thing. All that, I don't look at them and say I don't receive that, but I will go, well, I hear you. And then I go, and I did not receive that. I say it in my mind, and I did not receive that because I'm guarding my mind.
Yes,
I'm guarding the information that I even allow to come in. Some stuff don't even believe some things don't deserve to get past the gate.
Yes,
you got to be the gatekeeper of your mind. Like,
yes.
You ringing my doorbell, I'm gonna let you sit right out there. You don't have to open the door. Sometimes we open the door to stuff we don't need to open the door for. Go.
It is so good, Denise. Oh my God.
If somebody come with a pizza and you didn't order a pizza, you look, oh yeah, that's not for me. Right? You go back and finish watching TV.
My God.
You don't have to open the door and be like, okay, no, hi, I see you got a pizza. Who's that pizza for? No, I'm gonna preserve my energy, my time. So
God. Girl, you just helped me on that one.
And you don't have to be rude, right? And it's more difficult in the church community because people be like, oh, I got a word from God. And sometimes they're telling you things that you're like, that's not in alignment with my spirit. And it's not in alignment with what God's been telling me or the direction he's moving my family or the direction of my marriage or that. So just because someone says something to you, you don't have to internalize it. I don't want to be rude. So I will say, well, thank you for sharing that with me. I go, yeah, I don't receive that.
Right.
And that's okay.
And it is okay. It is okay. And you have the permission to not receive it. You don't have to receive it.
Yes.
And we think, because we don't want to be rude, that we cannot say, I don't receive that.
Right.
So another thing in your book I want to talk about, I'm trying to get us in before the next 15 minutes.
Okay.
I guess this is about the breakdown, because we got some people on that want to know about laying the groundwork. When you actually, I guess, coach your clients, you have 3 things here concerning laying the groundwork. The first is, what do you want to say? Why do you want to say it? And who do you want to say it to? Can you just give us a little bit of each? What you have written down in the book. I read it, but we want the audience to hear what your takeaways are.
So whenever I work with someone, now I have met with, I remember when I met with Jacqueline, I asked her these same exact questions that are in the book. When I was working with Kenny Lattimore, same questions, Kim Cole, same questions. What is it that you want to say? Because sometimes we get all riled up because someone's, oh, you're a great speaker. You need to speak. You need to come speak at my Little League. You need to come speak at my church. You need to come speak at my, okay. So you find yourself running around just speaking everywhere. So I don't care about any of that. What I want to know is, what is it that you want to say? What is it that you want to say? The purpose of asking someone that is to help them hone in and get clear. What is the thing that I really want to be talking about? Then once we identify that, now I go, okay. And what's the next question? Who do you want to say it to? Is that what it is?
Why do you want to say it? Why do you want to say it?
Why do you want to tell this story? Is it because, you were wronged by someone, you want everybody to know, and so you want to just, tell this story of how people are not good? Or is it that based on what happened, you see that it could be a blessing for other people based on the way that you handled it? You have to figure out why you want to say the thing that you want to say, because the next thing is probably, who do you want to say it to? Sometimes your message is not for the right person. So if you're talking to, I don't know, a bunch of hunters, right? And you go to an event that has people that hunt for a living, that's their thing. And your message is about, I don't know, being a top employee and working inside and corporate culture. That messaging is not appropriate for this group over here. But if you're just chasing the dollar, you will find yourself blowing in the wind, running to everything. Anybody wants you to speak, you just running, ripping and running and ripping, because you haven't stopped and got very clear about what you want to say, who you want to say it to, and why you want to say it. Before I can work with anyone, those are the questions that I ask so that I can help you craft that, so that I can support you in packaging that conversation in a way that the person can hear it. Because Jacqueline, working in ministry, there are things that you can say in the corporate world that in the church world, you have to say it a little bit differently.
Yes.
And vice versa. You have to know your audience.
Yes.
So that is why I do that. And unless you've had that type of experience, that's not your default position to think that way.
Right.
You're more focused on just getting the message out. So you need someone that's a step back from it, that can look at it and help you go, okay, now what is it that you want to say? Why you want to say that? Okay. Now who are we speaking to here? Okay, because I'll give you an example. Back in the day when I was working with a speaker, I almost said a person that's working with a speaker. One of the things that this speaker used to say is, and I call him God, you call him whatever you want. Okay, I was raised in church, so I know that if you go to a lot of Black churches, you're going to lose half your audience sometimes with that statement, depending on what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Because Christian people are like, no, not you call them whatever you want. And now you got them going, wait, you call them God. So now they're in this whole conversation that they don't need to be in. They can't even hear the message because of the way that you delivered it. So you have to know your audience. And then the other places you go, you might be talking freely like me and say, and God is the one that gives me everything that I need. You could turn someone off by that. Now, if that's your truth, that's your truth. So I'm not saying like, don't say that, but I'm saying you have to know who you're speaking to.
Yes. And that's, for instance, if you're a public speaker and you are a born again Christian, Holy Ghost filled, if you go to the corporate world and say you go to NASA and they want you to speak, you can't get on their stage and start speaking in tongues.
Oh my goodness. No.
You can't do it. They didn't invite you to bring the church into their corporation.
Right.
They invited you because you have something to say in the marketplace, not in the church. Right. And so we have to understand, and Denise, it took me a while to understand that, okay, I have to know my audience. Like I have a master class. Every one of my master classes is saved and hey, they love the Lord. So guess what? I can talk about God. But if I have a master class and there's nothing but CEOs that's in the corporation, in the corporate world, guess what? I can't be on here and preaching and all this other to them because it'll go over their head. And they, guess what? They won't show up next week. Right. Because they don't understand. So we have to, like you said, we got to know when to bring in God, although God is in you, and when not to bring him in. Because
the important is because you want your message to be heard, and you can lose people based on the way you say something. You can say the same thing in a totally different way, and it penetrates the heart.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And I hope someone out there heard what we were saying, that we're not trying to say, take God out of everything. No, we're just saying that if you are going to be a public speaker, if you're going to be a professional, motivational speaker, when you go into these corporations, if you go into, for instance, a high school, unless it's a Christian high school, you can't bring in your gospel band and
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? You have to keep it professional. Yes. It's a time and a season for everything.
If you want to be effective, authenticity is about being real, but it doesn't mean that you don't have a responsibility to understand who you're speaking to.
Exactly. And I believe it could be a little challenge for some preachers to go into the corporation and speak on certain things without, God is okay. Just make sure that it's okay with them to talk, 30 minutes about God and not talking about your main, topic. You got to be careful with that. So, and I'm just being transparent. I had to learn that because I was like, they ain't gonna kick my God out. No, they didn't. They had not kicked your God out. God is still in you, but you can say some things out of the word of God without quoting it.
Yes.
You can motivate people by certain things in the word of God, but it doesn't have to seem preachy. So
people tell me that they see Bible principles in my book throughout the whole book.
You do. But I don't see no scripture.
Right.
but you know that you are a God-fearing woman by how you presented yourself and what you put in the book. But you didn't have to be preachy, because guess what? You are trying to draw not only believers, you're trying to draw unbelievers. And the Bible says, he that winneth souls is wise. Okay,
Yeah.
we got to move on. Now, tell us about some of these people you have worked with. And, you can just give us. No, we ain't going to do that because you on live and we don't want nobody, saying you said this. Just tell us some things about people you have worked with.
Oh, my goodness. Well, one thing I'm going to say, because people ask me all the time, how did you get this person as a client? Or how did you start working with that person? I never solicited any of the people that I work with. Every person that I work with is based on an experience. They saw me managing someone else's company or working in a different capacity and said, you know what, we have to work together. So during, this journey of self-development, I love all my clients that I've worked with, but Kim Coles is, I call her a ray of sunshine because one, she was on a show called Living Single. And a lot of people know her as Sinclair. She is just as beautiful and light and positive as her character on the show. That's really who she is. And so she is my sister. I say that she is in my tribe because I know that I can send Kim to any event, and I've sent her to a lot of events over the years, and things could not be right on the organizer's part. And she's never going to show her behind. She's not going to be rude. She's always going to handle things with class and grace and love. And I like people like that in my life. It makes me want to just run to work even harder for people that have that spirit. Another person that I started working with, and it was the same type of energy, was Kenny Lattimore. He has a heart of service. And I get excited when I have people like that around me, because I know that our mission is just to do more good in the world. I have a client named Elaine Swan. She's an etiquette expert, and she's amazing. I mean, she is someone that really soaks in how to be a better person and immediately tries to apply it. And so as I look at her journey and all the things that she's doing, I just shake my head and go, man, look at God. My prayer was for God to bring to me the people that bring me my community, because I found myself working in environments where I felt like I was casting my pearls amongst the swine for a minute, where, for those that are not like into the Bible, basically, if you have some pearls and you threw them in a swine pit, they're pretty much gone. Like that was a waste. Yeah. Pearls are expensive. Why would you do that? Right. So if you have a gift or a talent and you go deposit that and work in a business or an environment that doesn't appreciate you, they don't value you, they don't respect you, it's like, why would you spend your time there? That's the phrase of casting your pearls amongst the swine, giving your gift to an area that's going to devour it. And of course, people know Tony Robbins, the guru of the self-development industry. I'm so glad that he did that Netflix special talking about what he does behind the scenes, because for years people were like, oh yeah, I know, I remember Tony Robbins. He does all that yelling and screaming, and like that's all that they think. They don't understand the transformation that happens. I'm like a in your face kind of girl. I don't do passive stuff. I don't want to like sit and just visualize the problem going away. That's not me. Like, give me what do I need to do to work through this? I don't mind getting dirty to work through it. And so I appreciated being in the environment with Tony, because I saw someone that was willing to get in your face with you and challenge your beliefs. We operate with so many beliefs, and then if you really dissect and go, well, where did I pick that up from? You realize that it didn't even make sense. Kind of like the woman who was cutting the butt off of the ham. I don't know if you know that story.
Yeah.
She's cutting the butt off the ham, been doing it for years. And her mom says, well, baby, why do you do that? She's like, well, because that's the way you used to do it. Mom, we got to cut the butt off. I don't know, but I'm cutting the butt off. Yes. And she's like, well, baby, I was cutting it off because I didn't have a pan big enough to hold the ham. That's some good ham. I love that story. But we have to start using our mind and question, why do we do some of the things that we do? Where does it come from?
My
So
God.
back to your question about the people that I've worked with, what's more important to me than the people I've worked with is the impact and the impact that I've been able to make and the things I've been able to accomplish. The person could have been, an attorney or a doctor or a lawyer, same thing. It doesn't matter. They don't have to be someone on television. If my gift was able to help them be more impactful in what they're doing to help somebody else, if it gave them the skills to shift the way they've been doing things, like I feel honored and blessed by that. My life goal is to be the ripple in the pond. I want to throw the pebble and it just vibrates out to people that I may never ever know. And so I'm grateful that I've worked with some notable people, but what's more important to me is that I'm now choosing people who have a heart of service. That's the most important to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well said. Well said. Now, this is our final question.
Yep.
What action do you want people to take after tuning in to this broadcast?
Oh, that is very easy. So often we listen to podcasts, we watch videos on YouTube, we go through Facebook, like, ooh, that was good. And and I actually talk about this in my book because I was guilty of it. We will go do one thing to make us feel like we took some action. We'll go buy a book and then put it on the shelf and not read it. So what I would want people to do is to go, okay, I probably could do a better job of being more real and open and honest and authentic. I don't really know this woman, Denise Benz, but I like one or two things she said today. I'm gonna get this book and I'm gonna take a listen to it. I'm going to read it. I said take a listen because I'm gonna do an audio as well. So the action I would want is for them to buy the book and think through their list who else they know that could benefit from it. And one of the things that I did, and I didn't like really publicize it that big, every person that buys the hard book, what they get in the mail is the hard book signed, and I also send them the ebook for free. But because I want you to pay it forward. I want everybody knows somebody else that's speaking, that's in ministry, that talks about wanting to become a better speaker and come across more authentic. Well, I just gave you another book to go bless somebody else with. And then for the people on your show, Jacqueline, I'm an action person. So in this book are some steps that you have to take and things you have to write down. I have you, work on creating a life mantra. And I thought, well, if I bought this book, I would want to sit down and kind of write that out and play with some language. So I created a journal and it says, get unapologetically authentic. And it's a place for you to write down your notes. There's quotes throughout. Don't settle for a relationship that won't let you be yourself. What?
Wow. Wow.
There's quotes throughout the book. Some of the quotes are mine. What is this? Authenticity is the most valuable commodity. So this is my gift to the people on your show for the next 48 hours. Anyone that buys the book, they get the book. They get a book, electronic version they can give for free. And I will personally send them this journal, which is not even released yet. The only people that have this are my friends and family. And the people that wrote on the back of the book. Kim wrote, she's one of the people that's highlighted in the back of the book. I sent her this as a thank you. So this is not something that people can even buy online, really. But it is my gift to anyone that is tuning into your show, because this is what we have to do. We have to keep depositing into our village so they can be more ripples in the pond, you guys.
Yes. So tell us how to get this book, Denise. I mean, I got mine, but tell them.
You can go to denisebenz.com. You can go right to my website. There's a button there. You can go to Amazon and get it. But if you go on Amazon, you're not going to get all the goodies that I just told you. On Amazon, you can just get the electronic version. But go to my site, denisebenz.com. It's right on the homepage. Click on it. I sign every single book. And I actually take a moment and I ask God if there's something I need to say. to that person. And sometimes I just write words of encouragement. Again, those are ripples because I don't even know what's going on in their life, but whatever the message is that I get downloaded, I send it out.
Yes. I love it. I'm looking at what you wrote. You said, "Dear Jacqueline, thank you for taking a stand for authenticity. The world needs more women like you. Looking forward to seeing what God has in store for us." Denise.
Yes.
Yes. Well, this has been awesome. This has been awesome. Thank you so much. Awesome. We can't wait to look forward to seeing you even the more later on this month. We will, call you about all of that information. But we just thank God for you. So this is the end of our show on today, but stay tuned, everyone, for next week's show. We will be discussing You Are Enough book with my special guest, various co-authors from the international best-selling book called You Are Enough with Les Brown, Cheryl Woods, and many more. So thank you again, Denise Benz, for all of your information that you have. And I'm telling you, go and purchase the book. The book is amazing. It has really helped me even in my public speaking. I said, I feel like she needs to do a master class on this.
You did tell me that.
Yes, because it's going to help so many people. Because see, you helped, those gurus that are out there doing great things now. So it definitely will help those people out there that are wanting to be public speakers or ministers, like I said, or just want to share their story. Everyone has a story to share. But you got to know what to say. You got to know what audience you want to say it to. And you got to basically prepare. Your book says prepare, write it down, prepare, and speak it. So we thank God again for you. Is there any last words you want to say before we end the show?
What I do want to say is thank you for this platform. Thank you for being obedient and creating this. And though we have just met, I felt a sisterhood with you. Yes. What I wrote in your book about thanking you for taking a stand for authenticity, because you spoke life into me the first conversation that we had. And I felt like, wow, this lady doesn't even know me, but it was like you were speaking to my spirit. And it was like, she's in your village. God said, I am bringing people into your space that are in your village. And when I got off the phone with you that day, I was like, okay, she's in my tribe. So thank you.
You're welcome. To God be all the glory. Well, it's 5:00 and it is the end of the show. But please don't forget to always remember to live, love, and laugh. Until we see you next week on the Jacqueline Renee Show. God bless.
It's the Jacqueline Renee Show with your host, Jacqueline Renee Duncan. Join us on Zoom every Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern for inspiring, informational, real talk conversations like self-care, estate planning, book reviews, and you and your money. Remember to live, love, and laugh. The Jacqueline Renee Show is a Philip and Jacqueline Duncan Ministries production that airs on Zoom every Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Enter Zoom ID 558-997-5815. We'll see you Sunday on Zoom for the Jacqueline Renee Show with your host, Jacqueline Renee Duncan.
Bye. Thank you. Have a great day.